public health department, NCR staff, helping with community engagement, and really our coordinator's office helping lead the work, so many staff, and then every single council member here has been really involved in shaping this work. So it's a big deal. It's a collaborative effort from folks across the city, and then thousands of people in our community have participated so far. And again, we're just kind of at sort of a beginning stage here with the goals, and we'll have more community engagement over the summer and into the next year. So the resolution starts out talking about our process and the ways that our city is growing in population, housing, and employment. And then goes on to say, whereas among the 25 most populous metro areas, the Twin Cities Metro has among the largest disparities between persons of color and indigenous peoples compared with white non-Latinos in poverty rates, homeownership, employment, and levels of education. And whereas many participants in the Minneapolis 2040 process thus far hope the plan will address disparities in jobs, housing, air quality, parks, public safety, and transit, including investing more in geographic areas with the most inequities. And whereas Minneapolis has a history of housing patterns that were established through racially restrictive housing covenants and redlining practices that limited home ownership opportunities for people of color and indigenous peoples, and those same areas experience inequities in health, safety, and the social conditions that support health today. And whereas Minneapolis first grew around streetcar lines and then transportation decisions made in the mid-20th century divided Minneapolis neighborhoods and disproportionately impacted communities of color and indigenous peoples by expanding the amount of pavement devoted to vehicle traffic. And whereas rapid action is necessary to reduce greenhouse gas emissions and curtail the effects of climate change to which low-income communities are most vulnerable, and whereas the city's future growth must help eliminate disparities among people of color and indigenous peoples compared with white people. Now, therefore, be it resolved by the City Council of the City of Minneapolis that the City Council directs the CPED Department to update the city's comprehensive plan based on 14 overarching plan goals established through engagement feedback and furthering the city's commitment to equitable outcomes in the built, natural, and economic environment. Be it further resolved that in 2040, Minneapolis will have significantly reduced economic, housing, safety, and health disparities among people of color and indigenous peoples compared with white people. Minneapolis will have more residents and jobs, and all people will equitably benefit from that growth. All Minneapolis residents will be able to afford and access quality housing throughout the city. All Minneapolis residents will have the training and skills necessary to participate in the economy and will have access to a living wage job. The people of Minneapolis will be socially connected, healthy, and safe. Minneapolis will enjoy a high quality and distinctive physical environment in all parts of the city. The physical attributes of Minneapolis will reflect the city's history and cultures. Minneapolis will have the creative, cultural, and natural amenities that make the city a great place to live. All Minneapolis residents will have access to employment, retail services, healthy food, parks, and other daily needs via walking, biking, and public transit. Minneapolis will be resilient to the effects of climate change and diminishing natural resources, and will be on track to achieve an 80% reduction in greenhouse gas emissions by 2050. Minneapolis will have healthy air, clean water, and a vibrant ecosystem. Minneapolis will remain the economic center of the region with a healthy, sustainable, and diverse economy. Minneapolis will have an equitable civic participation system that enfranchises everyone, recognizes the core and vital services neighborhood organizations provide to the city of Minneapolis, and builds people's long-term capacity to organize and improve their lives and neighborhoods. And finally, the Minneapolis city government will be proactive, accessible, and fiscally sustainable. So finally, just briefly, wanted to thank everyone for all of their work that has gone into this. Again, a very collaborative effort among all of the 13 council offices and many, many members of our community. So I will move the zoning and planning agenda with the 6 items, including this last one.
Thank you, Councilmember Bender. And that language has been added in your motion, right?
That's correct, Madam President. The resolution is a substitute motion by myself, Councilmember Reich, and then adding Councilmember Gordon. And I'll just note it had some changes from the committee that included more emphasis on public safety, as well as this additional goal related to civic participation.
Great. Thank you very much. Any discussion on the zoning and planning report? Councilmember Goodman.
I'm sorry, could you just read the language out loud on public safety and community participation? I'm sorry, did I miss that?
Councilmember Goodman, she did read that in actually we have I don't know that we have a red line, but we added, she added safety in the first part of the whereas clauses.
Okay, I see it.
And another safety in the first resolved clause. And then the language is underlined. Do you have the underlined copy?
Yeah, okay.
Okay.
I'm sorry, I didn't see the underlines under public
Okay.
safety, so I didn't know
Yep.
where you were talking about, but
Yep.
it just got looped right in.
Yep.
Got it. Okay, thank you.
And I'll just note those changes came from the council offices that had
Mhm.
sort of highlighted those two issues.
Great.
Thanks.
Any further discussion, Councilmember Bender? Okay. All right. Any further discussion then on the zoning and planning report? Seeing none, clerk call the roll.
Councilmember Quincy.
Aye.
Warsami.
Aye.
Goodman.
Aye.
Fry.
Aye.
Palmisano.
Aye.
Gordon.
Aye.
Kano.
Aye.
Reich.
Aye.
Bender.
Aye.
Glidden.
Aye.
Yang.
Aye.
President Johnson.
Aye.
There are 12 ayes.
That report is adopted. Next, we have the notice of ordinance introductions. And Councilmember Bender gives notice of intent to introduce at the next meeting of the City Council the subject matter of an ordinance amending the code relating to noise, amending permit requirements for sound amplifying equipment. So that notice is given. The next is Council Members Gordon and Palmisano give notice of intent to introduce at the next regular meeting of the City Council the subject matter of an ordinance amending the code relating to license and business regulations, adding and amending provisions related to places of adult entertainment. That notice is given. Councilmember Gordon and Councilmember Palmisano also give notice of intent to introduce at the next regular meeting of the City Council the subject matter of an ordinance amending the code relating to the zoning code, amending provisions and definitions related to sexually oriented uses and adult entertainment. That notice is given. The introduction and referral calendar has a motion by Councilmember Fry to introduce the subject matter of an ordinance amending the code relating to liquor and beer for first reading and referral to Community Development and Regulatory Services, amending provisions related to Sunday sales for off-sale liquor licenses. Any discussion on that introduction? Seeing none, all in approval say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That carries. Councilmember Bender gives notice, is a motion by Councilmember Bender to introduce the subject matter of an ordinance amending the code relating to the zoning code site plan review for first reading and referral to the Zoning and Planning Committee, amending regulations related to exterior building materials. Any discussion on that introduction? Seeing none, all in approval say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That carries. Resolutions are next, and the first is the Star Tribune honorary resolution, which we read before the meeting. Any discussion on that resolution? Seeing none, all in approval say aye. Aye. Opposed? That carries. We have the 2017 Food Allergy Awareness Week honorary resolution, passage of the resolution recognizing May 20th, 2017 as Turn It Teal Day in the city of Minneapolis. Any discussion on that resolution? Seeing none, all in approval say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That carries. We have the 2017 Power of Love Gala honorary resolution recognizing May 19th, 2017 as Wingspan Life Resources Day in the city of Minneapolis. Any discussion on that resolution? Seeing none, all in approval say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That carries. We have the 2017 World Neurofibromatosis Awareness Day honorary resolution recognizing May 17th, 2017 as World Neurofibromatosis Awareness Day in the city of Minneapolis. Any discussion on that resolution? Seeing none, all in approval say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That carries. We have the honorary Gail Prest resolution. Any discussion on that resolution? Councilmember Gordon.
Thank you very much. I just wanted to briefly acknowledge the Gail Press contribution that she's made to the city. She's worked here, well, she started before I did, actually worked in a number of departments, and will be retiring soon and leaving the city. We're going to present the resolution to her actually at a gathering Friday, April 21st, 3 to 4:30 in City Hall Room 132. So hopefully council members can attend that. I'm sure you'll be getting an invite, but the public is also welcome to come there too.
Councilmember Glidden.
Thank you, Madam President, and I appreciate Councilmember Gordon and his office's efforts to put together this resolution. I too, along with Councilmember Gordon, have been around since the time that Gail was identified as the person to lead our sustainability office, I guess you call it, but in essence, that was really the pivot point for the city of Minneapolis, not in doing sustainability work, but on thinking about it on an enterprise-wide basis. So I just really want to acknowledge that Gail was a part of that, of really, I think, bringing to more citywide and frankly also national prominence some of the efforts, enterprise-wide efforts of the city of Minneapolis. And just the other thing I'm going to say is, boy, did Gail Prest have a good sensibility on making amazing hires. And I always think that is a sign of a very good leader, to make some excellent hires. And many of the people that she has hired have gone on to other leadership positions in the city, but also elsewhere within our community in the energy and environment arena. So I just wanted to say a personal thank you to Gail for really being influential to me, but also so many other people in the city.
Councilmember Goodman.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Is there going to be some sort of event where we can speak to her other than speak about her here?
There's flyers in the hall.
Yeah, Councilmember
Could you say
Gordon.
that out loud? Yeah, just so people know in the audience. There's a lot of people who've worked with Gail, and they might want to know when.
Absolutely. Madam President, I can reiterate that there will be a presentation of the resolution to Gail and a gathering Friday, April 21st at 3 p.m. in City Hall in room 132. And everybody's welcome to attend that and give lengthy speeches and accolades to a wonderful staff person who served the city and the city council and all of us so well over all these years.
Any further discussion on that resolution? Seeing none, all in approval say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, that carries. We have the 2017 Lesbian, Gay, Bisexual, and Transgender Pride Month honorary resolution declaring June 2017 as Lesbian, Gay, Bisexual, and Transgender Pride Month in Minneapolis. So any discussion on that resolution? Councilmember Quincy.
Thank you, Madam President. Just a quick note that we'll be doing a more formal presentation at a meeting in May, but the timing required that we needed to get this in so the MnDOT could take care of the bridge lighting for June. But I just wanted to alert people that the timing sequence seems odd that we're talking about a June event today, but we'll be doing proper presentation in May. Thank you.
Okay. Any discussion on that resolution? Seeing none, all in approval say aye. Aye. Opposed, that carries. Under unfinished business, we have Councilmember Gordon, you've got an item.
Thank you very much, Madam President. This is the matter of the tire waste that came through the Health, Environment, and Community Engagement Committee meeting, and we referred back to them as a council, also with the direction to come back by today with some action. The committee didn't actually act on it because the Park Board passed a resolution just this week, and our last meeting was before our break, actually. So that's why we need to take a vote on the council to dispose of this matter with, I should discharge, thank you, discharge the committee from further consideration, and I believe that committee members would support that. And we have a substitute resolution before you. This is something that I worked on in cooperation with the Park Board because they had concerns about it. I just want to highlight the two changes that are in the substitute motion. They are underlined. One of them is on page 2, and it acknowledges the resolution that the Minneapolis Park and Recreation Board approved on April 12th, committing the board to several actions related to waste tire products, including consideration of alternative materials in new and rehabilitated synthetic turf fields. Also reporting to the Health, Environment, and Community Engagement Committee of the City of Minneapolis during athletic field project scoping, and researching alternatives to the poured-in-place playground surfacing and the installation of signs at synthetic turf athletic fields, and this would be signs about health and safety practices. Also, there's an addition to the first resolved clause in the resolution that expressly states that the way we understand the use of city funds in the resolution will not include city funds transferred to the Minneapolis Park and Recreation Board under the 20-year Neighborhood Park Plan Agreement Ordinance. And I'll also note that also for consideration is the original staff direction that came from the committee also. Happy to take questions on any of that.
Does anyone have any questions for Councilmember Gordon? Seeing none, he has a motion to discharge the Health, Environment, and Community Engagement Committee from further consideration of the recommendations related to the use of recycled tire mulch, and that will require 9 votes, and then passage of the, I'm sorry. So Councilmember Gordon, as your motion, then include
I
The
move the
substitute.
substitute resolution that's before
gotcha.
you in place of
Okay.
number 2.
Okay, all right. It's before you, the resolution under unfinished business. Any further discussion on that item? Seeing none, Mr. Carl, we need to take a vote first to discharge the committee and then pass the resolution, or what's the?
Madam President, if you want to wrap the 3 items together in one vote, it would still take 9 to pass to discharge the committee, but assuming that 9 pass, we would apply that vote to all 3 items.
Okay, all right. Any preference from anyone? That sounds fine. All right, let's put it all together then. So the motion would be to discharge the committee and then adopt the resolution, and with its staff direction. Seeing none, no comments, clerk will call the roll.
Councilmember Quincy.
Aye.
Warsami.
Aye.
Goodman.
Aye.
Fry.
Aye.
Palmisano.
Aye.
Gordon.
Aye.
Kano.
Aye.
Reich.
Aye.
Bender.
Aye.
Glidden.
Aye.
Yang.
Aye.
President Johnson.
Aye.
There are 12 ayes.
That report is adopted. Next, we have announcements. Any announcements? Councilmember Bender.
Thank you, Madam President. Actually, this is just a note. I'm sorry, I apologize. I wanted to ensure that it was clear that item number 3 is under notice of ordinance introductions, which we didn't vote on. It was just the announcement, is authored by Gordon and Palmisano, along with item 2. And I just didn't catch, it was, there was just
We
a
made
little
that
thing.
correction,
Okay.
Madam President. You read it into the record.
I
Okay.
wasn't listening. Thank you.
All right. Any other announcements? I've lost my screen. So anybody else on the, Councilmember Bender, can you tell me who's on the, I see you had your, I lost my screen. Right, thank you. Councilmember Reich.
Thank you, Madam President. This is the season where the East Side sort of kicks off its somewhat eclectic social calendar, starting with the Hot Dish Revolution. That'll be April 23rd at the Solar Arts Building. It should be noted that if you want to enter your hot dish, it has to be in by 4 sharp, and dining will commence at 5 p.m.
Any other announcements? Seeing none, a motion to adjourn is in order, and it's a motion to adjourn to the MCDA Board of Commissioners.
So moved.
Moved, is there a second? All in approval, say aye. Aye. Opposed, that carries. Councilmember Goodman.
Good morning. Welcome to the Minneapolis Community Development Agency Board of Commissioners for today, April 14th. We have an agenda of 3 items. Our items include adopting the agenda, accepting the minutes from the meeting of March 24th, and approving the Accessibility Incorporated bond issuance at 360 Hoover Street Northeast. That item was already taken up in the City Council Community Development and Regulatory Services Committee. What is the Commission's pleasure? Commissioner Fry.
Thank you, Madam Chair. The Commission's pleasure is to approve both items.
All items are
All
moved
items.
for approval. Are there further comments or questions from any of the commissioners? Seeing none, the clerk will call the roll.
Commissioner Johnson is absent. Commissioner Quincy.
Aye.
Warsami.
Aye.
Barbara Johnson.
Aye.
Fry.
Aye.
Palmisano.
Aye.
Gordon.
Aye.
Kano.
Aye.
Reich.
Aye.
Bender.
Aye.
Glidden.
Aye.
Yang.
Aye.
Chair Goodman.
Aye.
There are 12 ayes.
Those items are approved. Seeing no further business before us, we are adjourned.